to throw out there too that I know for some it may sound like a CPA, I can't afford that.
I
And
love
I
this.
will just say to that is I looked for and the good Lord put in my pathway the a small business CPA
There you
firm. You
go.
know what I mean? And that
No,
made
you're
all the
right.
difference. For me, it was important that okay, I love that this accounting services firm is located in Harlem, where I
Check
was
mark.
living.
Yep.
Right. So I'm like, okay, this is local business. And I went to your website. I'm like, okay, she looked legit. All right.
Okay.
Um,
No, you're right. I get this
I'm
a
like,
lot. I get this.
oh boy. And I'm like, real talk. I'm like, oh, Tariqah, okay, we good.
That
Okay,
name.
yep.
Yeah, I know that
Okay.
name. I can
Okay,
say
that's
that.
South
Or
Harlem,
maybe,
you know.
yeah, there you go. No, but we
I
but we
mean,
get this a lot. And again, I'll be honest. I'm hearing
mm-hmm.
you. I'm
Yeah,
hearing you. And when I get this feedback, these are all the boxes that I was looking to tick and check. And
yeah,
I didn't mention it at the top, but I started my career in the corporate sector. That
yeah,
that was that was where I went. And
yeah,
listening, I was speaking to you ladies and listening to some of the
yeah.
past podcasts, all of those nuances and
Mm-hmm.
experiences, I could say and attest to having been a woman of color, a Black woman in the corporate sector, in the accounting realm of those
Right.
corporate sectors, and more importantly, in the financial services industry,
Yes.
literally in the stock
Yes.
market component.
Yes.
Only one. And so then it was important for me to say, we should be able to have a comfort level in
Mm-hmm.
talking to people who look like us, who
And
can
that it could
relate.
understand our background, right?
Yep.
Understand,
Who
okay,
can
these
relate.
are maybe right that can relate to this is why I'm choosing to go about this way financially. There's
Yep.
certain things that are just like, okay, that are more familiar with us. And
Yeah.
so that was important for me. And so what I'm saying to our listeners out there is that eh, you by no means charge anything exorbitant. It was to me fairly priced.
I
And
appreciate
you'll
that.
find that when you support small businesses
Yep.
in your communities that you will get the best deal, and these are people that will actually put their heart and soul into it because it is their reputation and their brand in the community.
Yep.
So whereas like the big box tax
Yep.
preparing companies, they have a slew of lawyers that can handle whatever, or a PR agency. You guys don't. And
Yep.
that's what I loved. And that's why we've been working together for over 7 years.
Yep.
And I'm going to be with you forever
Yay.
unless
I'm
something
excited about
happens.
that. Yeah. No.
Yeah, no, no.
Like,
And
no, right now, we're good.
right, we're good. It's a relationship. And so I just had to bring that up because I think some people may be like, well, I can only afford the tax preparation stuff. I mean,
Fair.
honestly, if I'm saying like a couple $100s, but you're saving yourself thousands,
You
you do the
should
math,
you should do
right?
the math.
So
I
do the
agree.
math if that
Yeah,
works for you.
yeah,
But
and
I
I
just
think
had to
it's
throw that out
important.
there because I really think it's important that
Fair.
understanding the difference and why that paying the extra, what you get out of that. And like as for me, again, I'm not going with Ernest and Young, right? I am
No,
doing
you're
this
right.
with a small business
You're right.
firm, but you have skin in the game too, Tarika,
Sure.
right?
No,
Mhm.
right. Like,
Right.
and it also, no, I can't go into Midtown and hire a
Hmm.
CPA because they're going to be charging me $350 an hour, or something like that. So
Hello.
for me, it was again so important because the need, at least the 10-year mark that we're at, was truly seeing my community, what I've been calling evolving.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I do want to get into though about while we talked about what businesses and individual taxpayers should keep in mind throughout the year,
Hmm.
but what should they also avoid? Because I
Ooh.
feel like there are a lot of pitfalls and people want to know that.
So some of those pitfalls, what I feel like is, and these are things to avoid, is to make sure that when you're giving guidance, especially from what I consider to be, and again, this is talking small business, um, but this is also for the individual too. So you're giving guidance from your tax professional, from your accountant, and let's say it's
Mhm.
just during tax season, and it's, hey, we discussed on how you could perhaps maybe have a lower tax bill or potentially have a higher refund. We talked about contributing to a New York 529 plan for your child. So in the next tax year when I see you, if I ask, so did you contribute to that New York 529 plan so we could increase your state refund? And you'd be like, oh, no, I didn't do it. It's like, come on. I shared that with you. I gave you
Right,
the
right,
link. You
right.
were sitting in my office. We
You
could have
said,
did the
here's the alley
application.
oop. Here's the assist for the
Come
alley
on.
oop.
And so then I didn't wind up getting the assist if you didn't actually, do your
Right.
part. And so then I say that about like kind of practicing what's preached to you, and kind of
Mm-hmm.
putting those things in place. And yes, we're all
Mm,
busy. Not
right.
everybody has enough time in their hand to do everything. I was just telling Damaris, I was just saying yesterday, man, there's not enough hours in a day.
Right.
But however, and I mean, I say, but however, what makes best use of the time that you have is to hopefully benefit you right then, and then
Mm-hmm.
obviously for the long term. And so then I wrote down a couple of things, right?
Yeah.
Definitely make sure, I think everything I'm saying to avoid are things that you should just be doing, which is reviewing and educating yourself, especially as a small business owner, on your financial picture, right? You should not wait until you're sitting down with your accountant to see how you really did for the year, right? And I know some of us small business owners, because we're getting in enough
Right.
just to be, to pay the bills, we're
Yeah.
thinking, nah, we're good, right? But when I tell you about reviewing and educating yourself about your financial picture, is to take a moment and truly sit down and say, how many clients did I land this month? And did I set a goal last quarter to land two more clients? Did I do that or didn't I?
So,
And if I
Tariqah,
didn't,
how
let me
often
figure it
should
out.
one do
Go for
that?
it.
No, that's great. How often should
Yeah,
one do that? Monthly, quarterly? What
that's
do
a
you
good
think?
question. Honestly, from our experience, we find that it is usually most feasible on the quarter end. And
Okay.
normally, how we engage with our retainer clients is to present a set of financials, whether you really want to look at them or not, but we're popping them right in front of your face. It's been times you can ask my staff, I'll show up at your location because you didn't have time to come see me. And I'm like, hey, remember that income statement I wanted to talk to you
Mm,
about? You see this meals line right here? This meals line is too long. It's too,
mm.
it's too big. We only could deduct 50% of these meals.
No,
So
that she does that to me every year. She's like,
yeah,
okay, I got your meals. She's like, we're gonna do 50% of that. I'm like, all right, I'm
no,
just throwing it in there because you know what? Uncle Sam
shit.
can go kiss my
Yeah.
whatever. And I'm just like, I'm
But
tired.
is there
So
a way to to benefit a little
right.
bit more and maybe get a bit more bang of the business cash flow out to you? Sure, if you're taking a W-2 payroll relationship with your business,
Mm-hmm.
perhaps maybe we could reimburse you, 100% of that meals, let it be fully tax deductible for the business as a reimbursement to an employee, and you still get the cash from the business for it, 100%
Right.
tax free. So, some of those things could also lend itself to become strategies, which is why it's important to really take notice of that and not
Mm-hmm.
kind of sit back and be like, well, I'm
And wait
coasting
to
my
the
bank
last
account.
minute.
Yeah, my bank account
Right.
is not on E, so I'm good. But it's like,
Yeah.
how about if that bank account could be a
Yeah,
little bit higher? Or how about if that credit
yeah.
card statement could be a little bit lower? And
Yeah, so I'm
then,
glad you brought that up.
yeah,
Just to kind of piggyback on that,
yeah,
I'm that person that will wait till like the very end, and my accountant, he
okay,
gets it to me every time. He's like,
okay. So
generally
he's
talking
opposite.
about this
Yeah,
last year.
He's like, I just told you this last
yeah,
year.
yeah. So
How many
please, come
times?
on.
Oh, I know.
Yeah,
I need
which,
to get in that habit of looking
hmm
at my numbers quarterly, which I
good for
haven't.
you.
I'll be
Oh,
honest.
oh, okay. Well,
I need
you will,
to.
and it will be good for you.
She acknowledges that she needs to do that. That's good.
Okay.
That's step
That's a
number
first
one.
start. Yeah, that's a first
Okay.
start. Yeah. But I'm trying to make sure I'm invested in myself as the small business owner to
Yeah.
truly continue to develop, this financial blueprint and this good one-on-one working relationship with our
Right.
clients and CPAs.
And so, with that being said, I'm going to close out the way we always close out. And I don't
Okay.
know how many of y'all get to the end of the show. I hope y'all do. So, this should be familiar to you. But there's a lot of noise out there. But our message is consistent. Stop getting distracted by the smoke and mirrors, i.e., the elections. Okay, whatever. I'm going to stay out of that. Tune out the noise and focus on your divine purpose in life. Vibrate higher to elevate your frequency. And always thank you for listening.